The one thing that Rob had kept saying all week that he hopes Amazon talks about is he's wondering if they'll talk about Project Hail Mary.
Which comes out in March of 2026.
Right.
So I didn't know.
Didn't know if they were going to talk about Project Hail Mary, directed by Lord and Miller, and it's based on Andrew Weir.
Andy Weir's book.
The
His
guy
third
who
novel.
wrote The Marshal, the guy who wrote The Martian, wrote this and stars good Canadian kid Ryan Gosling. They start the whole presentation with it.
An extended trailer.
Like, they didn't even, like, no waiting, just, oh, by the way, so thank you for having us here. We're excited about this being our first time here. And by the way, look at this. And they showed us, like, 6, 7, 8 minutes of this brief for, and listen, I've known nothing about Project Hail Mary, except that Rob keeps saying, it's awesome, it's awesome, it's awesome. And after watching this preview, all of you are going to be dying to see this movie. It definitely has the DNA of The Martian in it. You could definitely feel that DNA in there. But this looks so good. I'm like, now I get what Rob has kind of been raving about with this. But anyway, as the guy who was actually looking forward to this, what did you think about what we saw from...
Dude, I almost wet my pants. I swear to God. First of all, you know, when you see... Look, I read the book, and I've talked about it many times on my show and this show. I read the book in one sitting. I got it from Amazon. I'd heard it was good. Opened it up. I read it in one sitting. And I was like, God, they should make this into a movie because it was doable. And when I saw what they showed us, Lord and Miller have made the book. You know how sometimes adaptations are lost in the trees? They nailed it all. And what's really interesting is that trailer was only the first part of the book.
That's what I told you, John. I told you.
It was only the first part of the book. And I was sitting there watching this trailer going, are they not going to reveal? I mean, if you read the book, you know, but are they not going to reveal that there's actually...
Is it Rocky?
Yeah. And they did. Because I was like, it would be baller if they didn't, because everybody was already won over.
You tell them what you leaned in and told us immediately after.
I said that Project... sorry.
So excited.
Project Hail Mary is going to win Best Picture at the 2027 Academy Awards. It's going to win Best Picture. Because knowing what they've already done and seeing the design work and how they've cast it...
So it'll beat The Odyssey?
It's going to be... You know why it's going to beat The Odyssey? It's going to beat The Odyssey because The Odyssey will be great, and they'll go head-to-head. But this movie's going to do what E.T. didn't at the 1983 Academy Awards. Gandhi won. E.T. didn't. Project Hail Mary is going to win. It's going to be the Best Picture. And when I was watching that trailer, I was more convinced than ever. I'm like, Lord Miller fucking nailed it. And Amazon knows. Amazon knows.
They've got a winner.
They know. Because the book is not a hard thing to adapt. It's very straightforward. I have to say something. There's a lead actress that you saw in the trailer. There's a main character that's on Earth the whole time. They keep going back and forth to her. I've never seen her before. I don't know who that is. She was perfectly cast. Perfectly
it's like
cast.
This movie's version of Jeff Daniels from The Martian.
Yeah, kind of in a way. But I mean, the whole movie looks perfect. And when you see the alien ship design, dude, I
fell in love with. I didn't even know that they started shooting. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know
they started shooting last July.
Right. And I wasn't even aware of that. And so I thought, how much could they actually have to show us? And it looks like they have a completed movie. I mean, that's what it looks like, right? I was blown away by
there is, I mean, the alien creatures, the movie will live and die based on
Rocky.
He's the most of all the aliens in any science fiction movie ever. He's probably the most present ever in terms of being a companion friend, even more than E.T. They better get it right.
I was reading this book and I didn't get to the alien part, and the only reason why I stopped is because I stopped having to go out to Burbank where you guys lived.
Yeah,
it was I was hooked on this author. Quickly shot up to be one of my favorite authors. I bought every single book he has. I started Artemis, went on to Project Hail Mary because Artemis kind of got slow in the middle, the moon base, whatever, and then also because Project Hail Mary got picked up. I was like, I got to start reading this one. I'm gonna go dig it up, and I don't want to finish.
Project Hail Mary is going to go down. It's going to be one of the top 10 science fiction movies ever made.
I love that they
Especially if they don't change it.
You are setting yourself up for disappointment.
I know, I always do this. I'm telling you, though.
I'm only on board with Rob because The Martian is my favorite movie of all time, and it's from the same author. I can believe it's possible. You're reaching really high for me too right now, but you know what? I'll trust you. It could take place in the same universe. Right. I love Ryan Gosling in this. Just the way this character right there,
the Weirverse.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. It's just like I love that.
One of my favorite lines in the whole presentation was when they said, "We need to send you." And he's like, "I'm the not an astronaut." It was like a great line.
That. Oh my God! It just looks incredible. I don't want to say anything else. I love the way that it also explained the title of the book. You know, like what do you Americans call it? A Hail Mary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what it's all about. It's trying to save, the earth is like in trouble here, right?
So just for people who are asking, so the basic gist of what we saw, they laid out the basic premise of the movie. So you've got Ryan Gosling, who plays a brilliant scientist who had this theory about something's wrong with the sun, and nobody believed him, and he lost his job and career. This is what comes across in the trailer. And now he's like teaching like middle school science. But then the government shows up and says, yeah, we need to talk to you. Turns out that our sun has been infected. The sun is dying. And it turns out it's not only our sun. We're seeing that there's a bunch of stars that are dying that have kind of contracted it from the other stars.
Yes.
And they go, but we found one star in the middle of all of it that hasn't been affected. We need to send up astronauts to go figure out why that one's impervious and how we can fix our own sun. Ends up that they turn to Ryan Gosling and say, we're actually going to send you. And that's where this big comedic thing goes on. And it's great. And he eventually then goes. And then he's on this long space journey. You see, because you see him one shot, clean shaven. The next shot, he's got the long beard and the long hair. He's on this long journey to the star. And then as he gets close to the star, he looks out his window and there's an alien spaceship. And that's where I was like, what? Like, I don't know. I've never read the book. So that's why, for me, it was just kind of like, it was that shock moment to me. That kind of I actually remember saying to you that should they have shown that in the trailer? But if it's like a core element of the story, I guess you're going to have to advertise.
The thing about it is that alien spacecraft is there to solve the same problem.
Right, because their race.
Yeah, it comes from there. And so
their star's dying too.
Yeah, and what makes the book so good is you have these two alien races, us and another alien race, that have no idea how to talk to each other. We have no way to communicate. Our science is totally different. So how can these two totally different beings first figure out a way to talk to each other and then cooperate and save both their planets?
And he's literally on a death job. Like he's going up there and he's which is crazy to me because it felt like he was forced up there. It looked like from the teaser he was kind of handcuffed to go up there,
it's all part of the story.
Right.
It's so good. It's not just
and it comes
simple.
out next year, right?
It comes out March 2026.
So I have a question. March films or first quarter release films don't typically get their flowers at the Oscars.
Well, that's true.
Does it having an early release kind of like
it does
similar to Dune 2?
Yep, it does. It does. Like that's one of the. I think most of the criticisms that average film fans give the Oscars and the Oscar voters is just made up bullshit. But the one that is statistically proven true is that out of sight, out of mind with a lot of, I mean, that's just normal people. That's just being human. And releasing, if you've got real Oscar hopes for a movie, it's not impossible. Speaking of Handsome Hawk, he had that thing where that they shot over the course of like 10 years. Or Boyhood. And that was an early in the season release, and it did get some Oscar attention. But it does kind of hurt its chances a little bit.
I think that the story is so good and so affecting and so emotional that people are going to watch it all the way to the end of the year. They're going to go see it in the theater, and then they're going to go, because it's truly one of those. Look, I can just tell you this. I read a lot of science fiction, a lot of genre books. There are very few I sit down and read in one sitting. I was so entranced by this story, and it's a simple story. I had to know. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. And I was wondering, is this going to stick the landing? And the thing that gets me the most about this book. So the whole book is great. You're thinking, how are they going to end this? And the way they end it is so good. I mean, it's like Shawshank Redemption, you know, Andy Dufresne's walking down the sand.
Do they have their own San Juanejo?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not like that. I mean, what I mean, it's that effect.
Yes.
Because, you know, Shawshank Redemption originally ended with the bus going over the hill, and they didn't have the San Juanejo ending. So they added that it was a reshoot, but not with this. And the ending, by the way, is not like that at all. But the ending is just the whole movie will put a giant smile on your face. And by the time we reach March 2026, I think the whole planet's going to want to be smiling.
I just got to say one more thing. This is a hell of a way for Amazon MGM to put their foot in the door and say,
this is the
I'm
kind
here.
of thing.
I'm here.
This is the kind of thing that you would think that they would put at the end of the presentation, and instead they kicked off their presentation with it.